Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today Around Kansas begins on a somber note as we send out our kindest regards to the family of Kansan Major Dean A. Klenda, who was recently buried after being shot down in Vietnam 51 years ago. Next, meet Esther Luttrell, an accomplished author and screenwriter who makes her home in Topeka. Then enjoy a poem from Ron Wilson, and we'll end the day at the Trails, Rails, and Tales Festival. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Good grief, it's Wednesday again already. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And this is Around Kansas. Good morning.
And it's the last Wednesday of September.
Already.
The last Wednesday. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. So the beautiful, beautiful autumn so far. Mm-hmm. And this Saturday, I get to go on a bus tour. The last Indian Raid Museum, Decatur County, Oberlin, has a bus tour of the last Indian Raid. Yeah. So it's going to be a great time in Oberlin. And, of course, just one of my favorite places with a lot of my favorite people, cool history. So it's going to be a great time. Come up and join us.
Yeah, that is quite a place. When we lived out there in the mid-'60s, went over to the last Indian Raid Memorial and all that. So it's pretty cool.
Was that the 1860s or the 1960s?
Yeah, 1860s, yeah.
Yeah, time.
Yeah,
we're letting the monkeys fly today. I feel pretty wicked today. Pretty wicked with October coming on and Halloween coming on. Yeah, I do. This Mark Yunker, a friend of ours from out in Colorado, originally from Kansas, is always doing these Photoshop pictures. You know, we want to thank Patty King for doing the Photoshop, the cartoon life that Frank and I have. Well, Mark Yunker does the Photoshop stuff of me, and I'm ready to, I'll be posting this one again soon. Last year he did me as a witch, a really good-looking witch, too. So it's like this really hot witch flying through the air, you know, with my face stuck on it. So it was really cool. But, yeah I'm ready to pull out the witch stuff and the flying monkeys. And
Have you discovered Prisma yet?
No.
Well, that's an app that you can download, and then you can take a picture of yourself or whatever. And then what it does is it's various artist styles that you can choose. So I've been kind of playing with that too.
Yeah, some of your pictures on Facebook. I saw that.
Yeah, like Scream and the whole thing.
Cool.
It's pretty. It's fun. So.
And while we're talking about photos, we want to give a shout out to Mike Anderson, who I think lives right around Linsport. Mike had actually posted a picture on Facebook, and I asked him if I could share it, because I'm always changing the photos, the cover photos on our Around Kansas Facebook page. And fortunately, there are just so many talented people that we can draw on around the state that take these gorgeous pictures. He had this incredible picture of Coronado Heights with the clouds and the lightning. It is stunning, and it has had tens of thousands of views on Facebook now, and it's in the process of going viral as we speak. And if you didn't see that one, go back and check out our Facebook page and scroll back and check out Mike Anderson's work and all the other photographers that share their work. And we invite you to share yours with us too.
It is the most fantastic lightning display you've ever seen.
It's something.
I think it ought to get sent to Weather Channel, because I think those people even go, wow.
It looks like a medieval castle or something with that light. It does. It should be the cover of a book or, in a movie. It's really spectacular. It's so nice to have such a talented audience out there, isn't it, Frank?
Yes, it is.
It is. And for all you talented folks, we got a great show coming up. Stay with us.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
And we're back. Aren't you excited?
I know I am.
Yeah. So anyway, well, we do have some good stories today, and one that's coming up is one that
It's kind of bittersweet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bittersweet. So she's going to be doing the story. So anyway, she'll give you a little bit of background on it.
Major Dean Klenda, who was shot down in Vietnam 51 years ago, he was missing. They have all these official designations. They did not recover him until recently, recover his remains. So he has been brought back to Kansas and laid to rest, and that's the story. Incredibly bittersweet. And as we've talked before on this show, and I've talked in other venues, we're the soldier state. And so we've got a lot of veteran stories coming up for you this fall. And December will mark the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. And did you know the first man to shoot down a plane
was from Kansas?
Mm-hmm. So that's a story that we're going to feature in the first week of December. And we invite you to share your stories with us. So you can find us on Facebook. You can send us an email, and we'll put those addresses on our screen, or you can find them on our website. If you'd like to share the story of your particular veteran with us, we'd love to hear them and love to share them with our viewers.
So a story coming up about a hero from Marion, Kansas.
The Defense Department has announced that Air Force Major Dean A. Klenda, 25, of Marion, Kansas, was buried September 17 in Pilsen. 51 years earlier, on September 17, 1965, Major Klenda was assigned to the 67th Tactical Fighter Squadron as the pilot of an F-105D Thunder Chief that was attacking enemy targets in Son La Province, Vietnam. During Major Klenda's mission, his aircraft was struck by enemy fire, causing him to eject from the Thunder Chief. He failed to separate from his ejection seat before it impacted the ground. Major Klenda was reported as missing in action. However, a military review board later amended his status to dead, body not recovered. Between 1993 and 1999, multiple joint U.S. Socialist Republic of Vietnam teams conducted investigations of the crash site. The teams identified the site that was believed to be where Major Klenda's ejection seat impacted the ground. No remains were recovered at that time. On November 10, 2011, another joint team re-investigated the loss and interviewed a Vietnamese national who claimed to have found remains at the site in 1996. He told the team that he discarded the remains in a field 5 kilometers away from the crash site. In November 2014, a joint team excavated the site described by the Vietnamese national and recovered human remains. In the identification of Major Klenda, scientists from DPAA and the Armed Forces DNA Identification Laboratory used circumstantial evidence and dental comparisons, including isotopic analysis, which matched his records. The support from the government of Vietnam was vital to the success of this recovery. Today, there are 1,618 American servicemen and civilians that are still unaccounted for from the Vietnam War. We here at Ag AM send our kindest thoughts to Major Klenda's loved ones.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest three-fourths of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 5:50 a.m. on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the Plains. We would like to join your management team.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Buffalo Bill Cody earned his legendary title in Oakley. Bring the family and come celebrate Oakley's pioneering history and unique geography at two sites, the Buffalo Bill Cultural Center and the Fick Fossil Museum. Visit the Kansas State Cornhusking Contest and Festival on October 7th and 8th at the Buffalo Bill Cultural Center. Highways 83 and 40 and I-70 crisscross this hub of the Western Vistas Historic Byway. Day for the day, discover Oakley. This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
So, hello. I thought you were going to go first. Okay.
You never let me go first. Why should I think I was going
Well,
first?
I don't know. I was just
He never
sleeping.
He never lets me talk.
I'm suffering from hay fever today, so excuse me, I'm going to take a nap.
He just, yeah, excuses. He never lets me go first, does he? So anyway, and speaking of equal rights for women, our next topic, Esther Luttrell, our dear friend, a good friend to Frank and me both, and Esther, so multi-talented, and she's written so many novels that use people we know and places we know for settings, and so we've both been included in that, haven't we, Frank? Ren Radio has figured prominently.
In one of her novels, which is a murder mystery that takes place in the Noto Arts District where the Ren studio is, and it involves Ren staff members and all that. None of us was the murderer.
No, but I was the intended murderee. Murder in Magenta.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was the one in Magenta who was the intended murderee and survived to show up in another novel. I was thinly disguised as beloved radio talk show host, Deb Goodman.
Yeah, Deb Goodman. Yeah.
But our friend Esther has just taken it to new levels in the month of September. We're so proud of her.
September was a big month for our friend Esther Luttrell. The accomplished author who makes her home in Topeka was the screenwriter for a film that premiered in Oklahoma, Teata, and her book, Evidence of God, was released. We think our viewers will be interested in both projects. Teata is based on the inspiring true story of Mary Thompson Fisher, a woman who traversed cultural barriers to become one of the greatest Native American performers of all time. Born in Indian Territory and raised on the songs and stories of her Chickasaw tribe, Teata's journey to find her true calling led her through isolation, discovery, love, and a stage career that culminated in performances for United States President, European royalty, and audiences across the world. Yet all of those stories she shared, none are more inspiring than her own. Esther spent months researching this remarkable life, finding details that bring Teata to life on the screen. Throughout her career, Esther has worked with and counted among her friends and co-workers some of the most important names in the entertainment industry. She has also known great personal tragedy and has found healing in her writing. In sharing her own stories of loss and inspiration, she found other stories, experiences of faith, and from these, Esther has found evidence of God. This is not a preachy book. It is a book of compassion and insight and much comfort. The world is a richer place because of Esther's life and work.
I had this horse. It was a good horse, except for when the wind was blowing above 30 miles an hour. Wind was blowing about 35, 40, and I saddled him up, rode him out to the end of the lane, and I thought, well, he's doing pretty good. And about 6 jumps later, I was laying on the ground and thinking, boy, my shoulders sure hurt. I kept waiting, and it didn't get better, and so I went to an orthopedic surgeon, and that showed that I had torn rotator cuff. And he said, well, we'll have to do surgery. I thought, I farm and ranch by myself. This is not going to work out very well. I'd been sleeping in my recliner for about 2.5 years because it hurt too much to sleep in bed on my side. And I'd heard about Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center on the radio and gotten down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 11:30 the procedure was all over. They just took some fat out of my side here and spun that down for about 45 minutes and then injected it in my shoulders, and I was on my way. It's something you don't hear about, but I thought it was worth a try, and I'm really pleased. It's really worked out well for me.
Fort Wallace stood on the frontier in the midst of the Plains Indians Wars on a major stage route and rail line. Beside the 1865 stagecoach station, a modern museum with thousands of artifacts tell that story, like the fossil of a 40-foot plesiosaur is suspended from the ceiling. Located on Highway 40 midway between Hayes and Colorado Springs, the Fort Wallace Museum is as welcome a sight today as the fort itself in the 1860s. Discover the fightingest fort in the West. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
One of the key pieces of equipment which a cowboy uses in modern times is the livestock trailer. This poem is a tribute to the livestock trailer. I wrote this poem on the back of a sale barn receipt while I was sitting in line at the sale barn getting ready to unload cattle. It's called Hitch Me Up. There are red ones and blue ones, silver and gray. Some are splattered with manure, some leaking hay. Some are dark or muddy, some are clean or white. There's Titans and Travelongs, Sooner and Featherlight. There's Trailman and Roughneck, CM and Diamond C, and some of them look downright homemade to me. Most have gooseneck attachments, but some are bumper pull. Some have a big dent from carrying a bull. Some are riding low from carrying heavy loads. Some look like they've banged down too many gravel roads. Some need a paint job, some are coated with dust. Some look like antiques that are nothing but rust. They're used to haul cattle or horses or hay, and they're parked at the sale barn during sale day. They're going to and from pasture at different times of the year. During county fair, they're hauling in the show steer. There might even be a time in your child's search for knowledge that the trailer's cleaned up to haul the kids' stuff to college. So we salute the livestock trailer. In fact, we might say that it's a vital support for the cowboy. It's behind him all the way. Happy trails.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, I'll go first this time. We're back. Don't you love our table setting today? So anyway.
It's not, there was a lovely floral arrangement that we had to move out of the way so you could see us, but it's all so pretty. Decked out for a party tonight at the Dillon house. I wasn't invited. Were you invited, Frank?
No. So anyway.
I bet they lost it.
Yeah. The Dillon house is a great place for you to have your party, so you might check it out.
And you might invite us too.
Yeah.
So, speaking of talented friends, like we've talked about already, Jeff Davidson and Ron Wilson are two more of our talented friends. And Ron Wilson, of course, you see every week on Around Kansas, along with us.
A poet laureate.
A poet laureate. That's right.
Not laureate, laureate.
And our very talented cameraman, Michael Gehring, actually interviewed them out in Abilene recently when they had their festival out there. And those guys with the Western Music Association do some awfully cool stuff, and we're so proud to be connected with them in any way. And Michael did a great job, and we're thrilled to have Michael with us. And, you know, he's more than just a pretty face, Frank.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Abilene, and one time, you know, I was kind of a smart aleck and was doing Abilene, Abilene. I said, actually, it was about Abilene, Texas. Well, I stand corrected because a viewer did say, no, no, no. It was originally about Abilene, Kansas, but Abilene, Texas stole it. So there you go.
I believe that viewer was Roger Ringer, who is a past officer with the Western Music Association. Kudos, Roger. Shout out to you.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for the information.
Let's take a look.
We are here in historic Old Abilene town, celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Chisholm Trail. Ron Wilson here with Jeff Davidson. The city of Abilene has hosted a special festival, Trails, Rails, and Tales. Jeff, there was an awful lot of stuff going on this weekend.
This was a big weekend. It was a lot of fun. It really was.
The Kansas chapter of the Western Music Association, of which Jeff is president, provided music both Saturday and Sunday here at the festival. But there were cattle drives, there was a melodrama, there was all kinds of food and vendors and gunfights, as always, on the main street of Old Abilene town.
That's right. And then Red Steagall was the kind of grand finale last night, right before the fireworks. And we also had the Native Americans, which I thought was a nice touch. You know, we came through the Chisholm Trail, came through their country, which was Oklahoma, or became Oklahoma at the time.
So we had both cowboys and Indians here in historic Old Abilene town. One of the most interesting parts was the cattle drive. There were longhorn cattle, actual longhorn steers that were brought up from Woodward, Oklahoma, had a daily cattle drive around the park, and then the culmination was the loading of the cattle onto the steam engine and the train to go east.
That's right, and that was super, and drew quite a crowd. It was certainly fun to watch those longhorns get on there, and they had horns long enough that, you know, they had to kind of tilt their head a little bit to get through the door there on that cattle car.
The history of Abilene is that Joseph McCoy, an Illinois cattle buyer, came down the railroad line through Kansas after the Civil War looking for a community to host his stockyards where they could bring all those wild longhorns up from Texas to the railroad so they could go east to the cattle markets there. There was a Joseph McCoy interpreter who made remarks at the cattle loading. And then they had actually built a wooden loading chute that resembled one of the original loading chutes for cattle.
Yes, and I think it was actually quite accurate. I think it was a very good replica of what they actually used. And you might even mention that Joseph McCoy more or less designed the cattle car himself. And we were using one from the 1860s. It was actually that old. So that was interesting. So.
That's tremendous. The Texas drovers, when they were moving those cattle north, found that they could follow the ruts of the wagon trains that were left by freight wagons that were going down to the Indian tribes in Oklahoma. The man who was doing the trading was a half-Indian trader by the name of Jesse Chisholm. And so the Chisholm Trail got its name. Why was the Western Music Association part of this event?
Well, we talked to Abilene when we knew they were going to do a show. And actually, we were talking about doing one actually next year on the 150th year. But this year, this is actually 149 years since cattle started coming up the trail, which was 1867, by the way. And so Abilene decided to kick it off with a show this year. And then they're going to culminate it with even a bigger event, bigger show next year. And so we talked to them that, you know, hey, we're the Western Music Association, the Kansas chapter. We would like to be a part of your celebration and what all you're doing. And so they said, sure, come ahead. And it's been a great event. And from everything I'm hearing, people really like what we did. So that's great.
There is a group that's meeting to plan events all year long, culminating in the 150th anniversary. So be watching for more information about that. If you'd like to find out more information about the Chisholm Trail celebration, go to chisholmtrail150.org.
Well, we have to go. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And we'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Welcome to Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream.